Hello, everyone. How are we doing today?
Good. How are you, Professor?
Doing good.
Pretty good. Fabulous, V says. Where is V? She's hiding. She doesn't have her camera on today.
I'm here.
No glasses today? Yes, I have glasses. I've been working on my big computer. I have a big computer. I don't need to wear my glasses on my big computer. But unfortunately, my camera doesn't work very well with my big computer, so I use my laptop. So up close, you guys are just all blurry. Which can be a good thing, right?
Yeah. So we can sleep now.
Yeah. Here, how's that? Is that better? Oh, you guys look much better, much crisper and more distinct. All right, so let some more people in. So it's 3:30. Give them a few more minutes. Is Joshua here yet? Stephen Gilbert.
Hey, what's up, Ken?
Hey, you missed the meeting. What happened?
Which one? It said that
Second one.
I'm not in group 8. I confirmed it with Josh. I'm in group 10. My meeting's at Wednesday at 5 o'clock.
Okay, no problem then.
Yeah, so I nailed it down with him. We got it all tied down. I know the group now, so it's all kosher over here. How's your day going since I've seen it this morning?
Good. We got everything straightened out. Most everybody's still a little confused in the meetings of what they exactly need to do. So that's exactly why we have these meetings, is so you're not confused, so you can ask questions and all that other good stuff. Kind of like the midterm. A lot of people are confused about the midterm. So we'll go over that in a little bit. But if you have any questions about anything, including the midterm, go ahead.
Hey, boss, just one small favor, if I can ask.
No favors.
I'm participating in the meeting today. I was there earlier. I already went to my discussion group today. I got some family that drove out to see me in Arizona. We were gonna skip over to Laughlin, go have dinner tonight at Bubba Gump's. They want to go at 5. So
thank you for giving me your whole itinerary. I appreciate that.
Yeah, sorry about that. But would it be okay if I get a pass on the class for today, even though I'm participating right now?
I have no idea what you're talking about. If you happen to leave early, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, if I can leave the group right now.
All right, Josh, make sure you make it to do attendance right now.
Okay, I'm on it. I'm going through the list one by one.
Good. The list that I gave you. Look at Josh even put TA on there, so you know who he is.
Yeah, I figured that in a room with like 100 people, it probably doesn't make sense to just write Josh.
Well, everybody knows who Joshua is. All right.
Thank you, sir. Have a good night.
You too. Have fun. Be safe.
Will
Don't
do.
spread germs.
We're going to a restaurant. Everything's wide open over here in Nevada and Arizona. It's kind of like the polar opposite of California.
Yeah. All righty then. Be safe.
Will do. Thank you.
So who else is going to turn on their camera today for an extra point? We're going to play Whose Line Is It Anyway? So you turn on your camera, you get 100 points that don't matter towards anything.
I can turn mine on. I just happened to be eating at the beginning of class, but now I'm done eating.
That's fine. Oh, that's fine. Oh, all right. We got a whole screen full of people. That's good. I always like looking at people. That way I don't know. I think I'm just talking to myself in my room. Like some crazy old guy just sitting in his room talking to himself. All right. So questions about the midterm. We're going to start off there. Look, Josh got all his hairs cut.
Yeah. home haircut. I
Oh,
can't
no.
get it.
The Floby. Guys,
I
look
like-
that up. Look that up on YouTube. The Floby. Flob. I don't know how they spell it. Floby. It's pretty funny. All right. So nobody's going to venture into the midterm category, huh? All right.
How did your classes do overall between this class and the earlier one?
It was about the same. 95% of the class did it okay. Some people had some problems with the 20% safe assign. I don't know how many people in this class did. I didn't break it down because I haven't finished grading everything yet. So I just basically gave them a 0 and said do it over instead of doing anything else. So if you got a 0, you have until midnight tonight to do it over. Some people they missed a lot of points on the midterm and didn't quite understand what didn't quite understand it, the questions, I guess. So I gave them a 25 and I explained to them what was going on and told them to redo it. So if you got a 25 or a 0 or anything 30 and below, you can redo it and turn it in by midnight tonight. So you're not going to get the same points as what somebody would get that turned it in the first time and got a good point score. But for the most part, I think this class actually did a little bit better than my first class. So,
I mean, what can we say? This is your class, Professor. We all
well,
have our cameras on for you.
I know, huh? You guys are good. I scroll through and there's like on the second page even. Third page, not so much. That's where everybody hides, in the third page. So that's all right. Let me see. So let's get to it, shall we? So I was on fire this morning. I was going off on so many tangents. So hopefully I can control myself today and not go on too much of a rant. All right, so we're on week 6. We're going to talk about the midterm overview. We're going to deviate a little bit from the syllabus. It says on the syllabus that we're only doing chapter 8. We're going to do sneak in chapter 9 on Wednesday. And then next week, there's no school on Monday. I think everybody's excited about that. Woohoo! No school on Monday because it's President's Day. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, so I'm going to meet with one class tonight at 6:30 p.m., group number 6. And then Tuesday, there's no school tomorrow, so I can't remind you. Group number 3, we're going to meet at 10:30 a.m., okay? I may show up in my PJs, who knows? All right, admit all. All right. All right, so on the midterm, yes, the 20% rule did apply, and I did execute it quite profoundly. For a few people, I basically gave them a 0, said do it over again. All right, because on the final, if you plagiarize, if you have a 20% score higher than that, you are going to be in big trouble because I'm going to give you a 0 and I'm not going to give you a chance to make it up. Yes, I expected you to bold, italicize, underline, and make it easy for me to read. I had a complaint that I corrected them too quickly. Well, the reason I correct them quickly is because they're bold, italicized, underlined, and I know exactly what to look for and where to look for it. So I was able to grade almost all papers yesterday and the day before and the day before that. And I didn't stop to watch the Super Bowl game. So it's all your guys' fault. I was correcting papers instead of watching Super Bowl. But the halftime show sucked anyway, so I heard. So, you know, and the commercials weren't as good as they were in the previous years. All right, so I gave everyone who needed it a second chance to fix their mistakes. So fix them and turn them in. Grades range from 50 points, so, perfect score, to 0 points. Many people got 50s, high 40s, 46, 47, 48, 49. A lot of scores in there. If you received a 0 and a 25, you need to redo it and do it again. And no, I won't be this nice on the final. Okay.
Hello, Professor.
What's that?
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So this time, if you got marked Oh, I know that you fixed the grade for people that got marked for plagiarism for like references and stuff. So should
It wasn't so much plagiarism as much as you guys don't know how to write correctly, and then you put stuff in the wrong places, and it flags it as plagiarism. I know that. So
Okay.
people who argued with me, I told them I didn't care because I don't, because it's over 20%, and I said anything over 20% is going to get flagged.
Yeah, so should we just not include our reference then? Because for me, what marked me off was the footnotes, putting the textbook in the footnotes.
Yeah, well, don't do it that way.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so pretty much 90% of the class didn't have an issue. So, I mean, it wasn't that big of an issue except for a few people. Yes, the 20% rule is in the syllabus if you want to argue about it, which many people did. Yes, I did mention it in class several times. So there you go. And if you haven't resubmitted your midterm, do it tonight by 11:59 p.m. Otherwise, you're going to get the grade I gave you, a 0, 25, or whatever.
Just to confirm, we're resubmitting on iLearn.
Exactly how you did before. You can submit up to as many times as you want. As a matter of fact, I had people submitted 7 different copies or 7 different times. Don't ask me what they did the first 6 times. Okay. So pretty much the footnotes are not going to be done anymore because apparently 7 footnotes take up half a page. Who knew that? Apparently I found out correcting some papers. All right. So basically, you guys should know all this information. All this information is common knowledge between us. You don't need 7 references. You only need 1 reference, the textbook, and even then you don't even need to reference it. Just say, according to the textbook or according to Dyer, this is what he says. And basically, this is all common knowledge between all of us. I know Josh is in graduate school and is getting his PhD, and they're a lot more formal about stuff like that. I am not. Okay. If I know you're not trying to rip somebody off intentionally, I don't care. If you're trying to pass somebody else's idea off as your own, then I'm going to care. Okay. So there were some papers that were so bad that they got like 50% safe assigned scores, which means basically half of their paper was stuff that they copied and pasted or did whatever. All right. So questions about that?
Yeah, Professor. So for the final, will we be able to see the safe assign percentage? Okay.
Just like you did in there. You can see, you guys can all see the safe assign. Even though I said anything over 20% is going to get kicked back to you.
Right.
I don't think you guys believe me. Was that the case? Nobody believed what I was just talking to talk?
I
Nobody
guess
believed me?
we called your bluff, but I guess.
You called my bluff. Yeah. See what happens? All right. We'll admit Aaron in. He's running late. Josh, I'm going to make you co-host so you can let them all in.
Sounds good.
Make co-host. There you go. All right. So, like I said, one student in my earlier class, I actually had to talk to him and said, "Listen, your writing style is horrible. You need to change it because you can't just sit there and put parentheses and quotations for everything. He like every other sentence." So I go, "You need to change your writing style." All right. So source of cost advantage. You all saw the announcement that I made, or most of you did. Some of you missed it. So I took 3 points off. 3 points off if you missed something, but I didn't actually take 3 points off. I took 1 point off, maybe 2 if it was really bad. But basically, if you outline the source of cost advantage like this, I went through it, checked off all the points. Yes, I got this one, and this one. And then I read them and said, okay, yes, 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 and not even close. In some cases. All right, so Porter's 5 forces, most everybody did a good job on this. So there wasn't too much of an issue. If you missed 1 or 2, I took off 1 or 2 points, not 3 points per category as I assigned. All right, and this was the big issue. A lot of people, everybody got the primary activities, but a few forgot the supporting activities. So if you forgot the supporting activities, you only get a 45 on your test, which technically I should take off 8 points instead of 5, and I didn't. So you're welcome. So that was worth 20 points. So the other 2 were worth 15 each. So a total of 50 points. That was the matrix I used to grade the midterm. I wasn't nearly as mean as I could have been. I could have taken off more points, but I didn't. I only took off 5 points instead of 8 for this particular one and only 1 or 2 on the other ones. All right, so if you basically got 30 or below, you can redo it and turn it in by tonight. Many of you, I put that on there as soon as I graded it. Many of you caught it. Some of you didn't. So if you're one of those people who don't show up to class, who don't read your announcements, you're going to get a 0 or 25 for your grade. And it's going to be your fault, nobody else's. All right. So value chain, pretty much everybody got the inbound, operations, outbound, marketing, and service. A lot of people forgot the firm infrastructure. Many times the firm infrastructure is just as important as the primary. The supports and the secondary are, Disneyland is known for its HR and its training programs. The company we talked about, Thumbtack, if it wasn't for IT, they wouldn't even have a company. The whole thing is based on a business-to-business digital platform. And then procurement. Look at Walmart. Without their procurement department, Walmart's prices would be much higher. They wouldn't have the all the other things that they have to get the prices lower and move the product around like they do using information technology. So questions about the midterm? Really? Because my first class had a ton of questions. No, we're good. Are you sure? All right. So everybody's checked their grade. Everybody knows what they have. Everybody, you guys know, who you are, right? When it comes to grading. Okay. So the strategic alliances, I think in this class we got through some of these slides. The other class we didn't. So I was going to make sure if I do repeat some of those slides, forgive me, but I know from the 2 different classes, we're going over chapter 8. We haven't quite done that yet. All right, so I know we went over this slide, Disney Oriental Land Company, where we talked about how Disney and Oriental Land Company made a strategic alliance because Disney had the capabilities and Oriental Lands had the resources and capabilities to, in Tokyo, Japan, where they came together. Disney brought in their famous things that the things that they're good at, the park design, characters, movies, and then Oriental Land Company brought in the financial resources, the land, and how to deal with the culture, the culture in Tokyo, and how to do business with the other business people there. So how to choose whether to create an alliance, make, buy, or create an alliance. If you can make, there's no need to ally or buy. Buy, no need to make an ally, and ally can't make or buy anything. All right, so, but pretty much if you don't need a partner, if you can get away without having a partner, don't bring a partner in. It's usually going to be more trouble than what it's worth. Okay, arm length relationships is what your book calls when you don't have to make or have a certain item that's going to be a time-sensitive subject or a time-sensitive object. So, for example, nuts and bolts, washers, you can buy those in bulk, store them, use them as you need them. So there's no reason to have an alliance with a company that makes it. Strategic alliance partnerships, input that can differentiate products in the minds of the customers. Automakers use this a lot. Inputs that influence your brand or reputation. Volvo is known for being one of the safest cars, right? So that's where that reputation comes in. High value inputs are activities that make up a high percentage of your total cost. For example, many of the steel companies have investments by the car companies and the auto industry. And also you want to keep the steel cheap, but you want to keep it here in the United States so it doesn't cost you a fortune to ship, especially if you're manufacturing in Detroit, Tennessee, or wherever you're manufacturing in. So shipping is always something to be considered, especially with heavy items and bulk items and things that are hard to do. Inputs are activities that require significant coordination in order to achieve the desired fit, quality, performance, like we talked about Toyota, how they work with the the manufacturer of the air conditioning units for the cars. Okay. Contractual or non-equity alliances, 2 or more firms write a contract to govern their relationship. Contract specifies which party is to do an alliance with each party, tells the parties what to do, how to do it, when to do it. Disney promoting a new movie and character. Disney forms alliance with McDonald's to put characters in Happy Meals. I still got a ton of Beanie Babies around here somewhere from when McDonald's did that when my kids were little. So Disney is very, very good at doing that. They've been doing it for years and years and years, for 20, 30 years, making alliances with McDonald's and other companies too. Not just McDonald's, but other companies around the world. Licensing out their images, their name in order to make T-shirts, princess dresses, whatever it is, whatever the thing is. All right. So types of strategic alliances, contractual alliance is the most common one between 2 companies. A lot of companies have everything from a structured contract to just a verbal agreement. Yes, I'll buy from you. Or here, this is your price. Okay. Equity alliance, like Toyota does when they actually invest into the companies that make parts for them. Those companies, a lot of times, they are just companies, their only customer. So for example, making brakes for Toyota, that one company can be the only one that does that. And then a joint venture, like what Google and NASA did. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So they profit from this independent firm and they split up the money. They have a contract of how they're going to do it, what they're going to do, and who's going to do it. Okay, and this is actually in your book. Okay, so contractual agreement. My company has a contractual agreement with HP to be an authorized Hewlett-Packard dealer. Licensing agreement where you receive the right to use HP brand and logo. So I can put this little logo right here on my paperwork, on my invoices, to advertise that we have HPs. Supply agreement with HP, only sell the toners. I can't sell compatibles. I'm not supposed to sell compatibles. Of course, if I have a different name on a company, I can sell compatibles. So if you do that, then I'm not in breach of my contract. And then distributor agreement, use only HP authorized distributors to and other products. So I can only buy HP products from HP authorized distributors. I can't buy directly from HP because I have to buy $3 million a month in order to do that. But I can buy from an authorized distributor and I have no minimum amount. So how much do you think this toner cartridge sells for? If you Google it, go ahead. I don't care. I think this particular one is like $100 and something. $1,100. Not even close, Ronaldo. Stick to soccer. All right. Never mind. All right. I think it sells for like $110. $80. Did anybody actually Google it? So how much do you think it costs to make? Lower. About $3. It costs about $3 to make. So remember we were talking about cash cows last week? How a company makes a certain product and milks all the money out of it. This is what HP, Xerox, Canon, all these companies do is they make these printers and they don't care about the printers. All they care about is selling them and giving them away at almost cost so they can get you to buy the ink for it. So that's where they make all their money. So it's kind of like the razor blades, the razor and the blades for guys. So this is what they do. And don't even get me started on socks. When I did a tour of Turkey at the sock manufacturing place, it cost them a few pennies to make a pair of socks and they sold the socks for like $10 a pair. Highway robbery, I tell you. All right. I digress. Okay, so equity alliance, a collaboration of firms often supplement contracts with equity holding alliance, a financial stake in each other's companies. We've used Toyota for many examples of this. Anywhere between 5 and 49% of the equity is for the 10 largest Japanese suppliers. So why do you think they only own 49% as opposed to 50 or 75%? Let's hear what you think.
Government regulations.
Good answer, but no. What does Jesus have to do with this? That was a thick cow. All right. All right. So what do you think? Why would you not sell more than 49% of your company to somebody else?
Control.
Any
Yep, ownership, control, majority ownership. So you basically, you want to do business with this company, but you don't want to lose out, you know, if they decide, hey, you know, we don't like the way you're doing things, we're just going to do it the way we want to do it. And by the way, we're not going to pay you as much as we used to be paying you. So you don't want to lose your majority share. All right, so joint ventures, cooperating firms combine resources to form an independent firm, which they invest. Profits from this independent firm compensate partners for their investment. So when Google and NASA get together and data mine and decide to steal all your personal and private information and they sell it, they're going to divvy up who gets the money. All right, so a variety of areas included data management, massively distributed community, bioinfo nanoconvergence. Can anybody tell me what that is? Does anybody know what bioinfo nanoconvergence is? Yeah, I don't even know. I know it either. An encouragement of the entrepreneurial space industry. So they're using their company to encourage entrepreneurial space industry. So if you got $1 billion, you can start your own space company. All right, so that's an example of a joint venture where two companies actually get together and make a separate company. A lot of companies do that. We'll do a couple more examples. Vertical alliance is an alliance between firms who are positioned at different stages along the value chain, such as supplier and buyer. So steel companies and car companies, an example of that. Horizontal alliance is an alliance between two firms that do not have a supplier-buyer relationship. They're basically competitors. And then what car dealerships do, have you ever been to an auto mall? So car dealerships do this. They, a lot of the times they'll lease each other space to put their cars, especially if they're not on the lot, you know, when the back lot, they'll share space. They'll share costs in advertising. They'll do a lot of shared things in order to get people to come, whether they buy from the Toyota dealership or the GM dealership. It doesn't matter to them because they're getting people to come with a joint effort. So somebody's going to get the money. Hopefully it'll be, you know, whoever. So as we talked about, Toyota's relationships with top 10 suppliers, vertical alliances are usually formed to combine unique resources, create a new alliance, specific resources, or lower transaction costs. And many times that is the whole reason is the lower cost. All right, this is in your book. This is how JIT and Bose work together. JIT actually has access to Bose computer systems where it can check real-time inventory. It can check where the inventory is, and they have a very trusting relationship where the supplier and Bose organization work together and share information and labor along with HR. All right, so horizontal alliances, merger between Daimler Benz and Chrysler. So I had a 2005 Jeep Grand Cherokee, and the tail light on it broke and needed to be replaced. So because it was a Daimler Mercedes-Benz, it cost me $300 as opposed to a 2008 that cost like $100. So, you know, there's certain benefits and there's certain setbacks when it comes to that. So, but some of the things that Daimler or that Chrysler got out of this were a lot of safety features that Mercedes-Benz put into their cars. And then what Mercedes-Benz, I think, got the best deal. They got the minivans, they got the SUVs. You know, because before they did a alliance with Chrysler, they didn't have any of these models or cars. So the Sprinter van, I had a couple of those for my business a while back, and they, you know, that came from them merging with Chrysler and getting the technology and all of the designs to do that. Okay, so Mercedes-Benz and Chrysler both prospered in the value chain. This is actually in your book. So if you want to kind of look at a more visual thing of how they benefit both. And that's another thing too. Most alliances don't benefit both companies. Either one company gets a lot out of it and the other company doesn't, or they both don't get anything from it. And it's not always what it's supposed to be. So sometimes it just doesn't work out. So like that ex-girlfriend. All right. So we got domestic strategy versus a global strategy. So product and service is customized in each country in a multi-domestic strategy, and it's more decentralized as opposed to a global strategy that is centralized. So it's effective when between countries are large and effective when differences between countries are small. So if you're selling a global product that is very similar to something else in a different country, you can keep it similar, and if it's close, it'll be fine. If there's a large difference in demographics, the way the other country is, then it's not such a good thing. You're going to have a multi-domestic type strategy. We talked about the Big Macs. We haven't talked about burger economics yet. So we talk Big Mac. McDonald's does a lot of things on a global scale as far as their distribution goes and things like that, and their arches and all the things that make McDonald's McDonald's. But they also use a multi-domestic strategy when they have a menu specialized for the local culture and for the people who are there. So beef's not such a big thing in India, but the vegetarian options are. So this is kind of a visual thing of what. Whoops. This is a visual of what a multi-domestic is. Different in local markets, drawing on worldwide resources, and they tailor products to the national idiosyncrasies or what people prefer or desire. They sacrifice efficiency a lot of times for the market. Making one product in one market is not always efficient, especially if you're on a multi-domestic or global level. Okay, so the global strategy, you have your headquarters and everything else goes out from there. So everything's done on a global strategy, which doesn't always break down in the value chain, exploit low cost locations around the world. You can do that, but you're going to give the same product to everybody that's not going to always like the same product. Okay. So certain products like the Dove body wash, that actually works in a lot of different markets. Not too much difference. We don't shower differently in different countries. Sometimes you don't have a shower in different countries, but that's a whole nother economic problem. All right. So ways to create value in an alliance: combine unique resources, pool similar resources, create new alliances, specific resources, and lower transaction costs. Lower transaction costs is the main reason that many of these companies do alliances. Okay, and you remember the 3 C's? The capabilities: conduct the activity internally when the firm has or can develop better capabilities to perform in other firms. Coordination and control. It's always control when it comes to the value chain and the 3 C's. You always want to control your resources whenever possible. No. Okay, Raj. The global strategy entail a complete absence of customization for specific markets, or is it just less of a priority? So the global thing is, I'm going to make this one product and I'm going to distribute it globally. So everybody likes it. Everybody wants it. Say, for example, it's a watch, so we all use, we all wear, well, we don't all wear a watch. Let's just say it's a shirt. Okay. It's a very common shirt. Everybody wears a shirt, a t-shirt. So globally, we don't have to make too much changes to it, right? It's just a plain white t-shirt. Everybody's going to use it. Nobody's going to need it customized or anything. So, but if you do regionally or, as not as a global strategy, but then you can start customizing it. So say, for example, in South America, everybody wants a soccer logo on it. Everybody in Germany wants a beer mug, Stein on it. So, you can do different things for different markets. So it doesn't have to be a global market So some global things are all the same. Here, let me see. I'll go back to here. So some global things are all the same, but not necessarily all multi-domestic strategy is the same. So multi-domestic strategy, you can have a global strategy and then you can customize it to a multi-domestic strategy. But the problem is a lot of global companies, they don't see that or admit to that or will even do that. They'll say, this is what we make. If you don't like it, don't buy it. And that's where you get a lot of companies that build a niche, right? So, you know, all we make is white t-shirts. We don't care about anything else. We make white t-shirts. If you don't like it, buy something else. Well, a company comes up and says, oh, we got blue t-shirts. We have red t-shirts. And we'll put a custom logo on it. We'll put a, you know, whatever you want on it. So that's how a lot of global companies lose a lot of market share. All right. Did that answer your question? That makes sense. Thank you. Okay, so I did answer his question. All right, let's go back to where we were. All right, the 3 C's. So ways to create value in alliance. Everybody knows that Pixar has this great technology. They designed some really good cartoons or full-length feature animation movies, whatever you want to call them. Alliances combining unique resources to create even a more powerful offering. So what did Disney have? Disney had the capabilities of distributing, right? They had the capabilities of developing characters and selling them, selling the products, right? What else did Disney have? What does Disney have that would bring value to an alliance? Everybody's quiet today. They just want to go in the chat box. Exposure is a very good one. Brand name, theme parks. Yeah, they have the theme parks. They can actually create a lot more recognition for the products in their theme parks. Reputation, brand image. Yeah, and they got a lot of money too. Not as much as Oriental Land Company, but they got a lot of money. Very unique brand. All right, very good. All right, so this slide again is a little just expanding what Oriental Land Company and Disney did together, where they pooled their similar resources and were able to make it very, very successful. Okay, so ways to create value in alliances: lower transaction costs, build trust. For example, Toyota and General Motors found that Toyota's procurement and legal costs were half of those of General Motors. So General Motors spent $8 million a year on lawsuits and disputes with their vendors making products, as opposed to Toyota that only spent $4 million renegotiating and doing whatnot. So Toyota had developed relationships with its suppliers, not only building relationships, but actually investing in them, buying equity into them. So, you don't have to necessarily buy into the company that you're doing business with, but build relationships with them. I have very good working relationships with my vendors. So it's not just on a huge scale like General Motors or Toyota, even small or medium-sized businesses. You definitely want to create a value in alliances, and this is something that doesn't cost money. Building a relationship with a vendor, is not going to cost money. Go out to lunch. All right. So hold up is when a partner tries to exploit the alliance-specific investment made by another partner, and misrepresentation is when one partner actually tries to misrepresent something or promises something and can't deliver. Both not good. Okay, so building trust, the first way to prevent against opportunity by partners is to only initiate partners with people who you know to be trustworthy. I had a company that I did business with, Laser Imaging Plus. They end up stealing a lot of my customers. They stole them right out from under me. They went directly to them because they found out who my customers were, because I would ship directly to my customers from them. It's called drop shipping. And what they did is they actually approached my customers. So now before I bring on a new vendor, I go out to lunch, do a little bit more investigation and make sure I can trust them. A lot of times there is no written contract when you do business like this with vendors. And it's not just my industry, it's many industries that do that. So the legal contracts are non-existent, but many firms that do build alliances do have contracts and partnerships. They write up a legal contract. It tells you who, when, why, where, and how, which is very important. And we'll talk a little bit about what the most common problems are. Most contracts have clauses that clarify 3 categories and issues. These are the 3 biggest problems that many contracts run into. And this is what General Motors ended up spending all its time arbitrating. Governance issues such as how decision will be made, how profits will be split, and how disputes will be resolved. And then operating issues such as what performance is expected, how intellectual property will be shared and protected. So sometimes a company will actually invent something and they'll put a patent on it. It'll be under the company's name. But who did it and how they did it and who gets credit for it and who gets the money for it is in dispute a lot of times. And that's another thing General Motors had a large problem with, is the companies that they were doing business with said, they'll say, hey, build this. They built it, they patented it, and they charge the company twice as much as what they promised because they could sell it to somebody else for that much. So these are a lot of the issues that occur. Exit and termination issues is the biggest one of them all. Not all alliances are meant to be to go on forever. Daimler Chrysler, for example, knew that they were only going to be together about 10 years. They said, this is what we want out of it. And they did a very good contract. They understood what each other was going to get out of the deal. And they were fine about it. And they went their separate ways afterwards. I think Chrysler is owned by Tata Motors now, though. I can't remember, something like that. But anyway, know exactly what you're going to get out of it, how you're going to get out of it. And that is the biggest suggestion I have. Also, if you decide to go into a partnership with somebody, always have an exit strategy. So if one partner decides they want out or even dies or, something happens, you're not going into business with their family who knows absolutely nothing about the business. Last thing you want to do is go into business with your partner's wife who knows nothing and all she wants is money, and that's it. Okay. So building an alliance management capabilities, I just put this in there. This is out of your book. I wanted you to see how it progresses. Alliance business case, partner assessment section, alliance negotiation and governance, alliance management, and asset and termination. So this is kind of the flow of the alliance life cycle. Like I said, it's not meant to last forever. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't. Hewlett-Packard is a perfect example. They got together. They did a partnership, they formed a corporation, and they kept it that way. All right, so alliances, joint ventures, and acquisitions, degree of resource activity interdependency, all the way from your scale from low to high. And you can customize this, and depending on what type of company you're doing and what kind of degree of mutual customization that you need of the assets that you're making or what you're doing, is kind of a visual scale of that. And this is also in your book. All right, so the number one reason why partnerships break up is the same reason why relationships break up, which is what?
Miscommunication.
Communication, very good. So as my wife always tells me, you're the worst communicator in the world. So, all right, so we're not going to do the Honda handout. I think and then you guys saw this, right? We talked about the EV units last week. Yes, no, maybe. So, yeah, we're going to go over it again anyway. So basically the EV units are doing partnerships. The car companies are doing partnerships with battery companies, with other companies that have everything to do with making the batteries, to putting the electricity in, the charging stations. So these are all things that they're all going to do alliances with. And the state of California and many other states are trying to make incentives, I guess you would say, to do that. Many times it's laws, many times it's other things, Gavin Newsom's decided to hijack all of the tax money made from selling gasoline at the pumps and is going to use it for these initiatives, for charging stations, for everything for EV electrical vehicles. So instead of fixing the potholes in the road, he's going to build charging stations. Of course, so you can't get to the charging stations if you fall into a pothole, right? And some of those EV cars are pretty small. Right. So car emissions, Uber, can you tell me what this is? What is it? Let's see it in the chat room. You guys are so quiet in the afternoon. I know it's my nap time too.
It's a lithium mine.
It's a lithium mine, absolutely. So when their partnership with some of these big car companies are partnering with these lithium mines, so they're digging big old holes in the earth, making it nice and ugly. All right. All right, and this is a coal mine making electricity, or not a coal mine, a coal plant producing electricity. And then my home state, the Bonneville Dam over here in killing all the salmon just to make electricity for electric vehicles. And a lot of people don't know that these things blow up quite regularly and start forest fires. And then solar panels. So the more push for solar panels. See all this silver stuff right here in between the panels? That's all silver. So don't forget to buy your precious metals, buy silver and stocks in silver and companies that produce silver. All right. So discussion question, don't forget every Friday. Nike case is due on Wednesday. And we're not going to do this. We got time to do this. You guys want to do this? You guys want to think a little bit? I don't see anything in the chat room. No, 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 not really. No, 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 no. Not one yes, huh? Jeez. Brain's still cooling down from midterm and the Super Bowl party last night, huh? All right. Oh, that's all right. We got next week. All right. Any other questions? Nope. Wednesday we'll go on to chapter 9, international strategy, when we talked about the Lincoln. So do I have anybody at 3:30? No, they're at 6:30. Okay. Questions, concerns, anything you need to talk to me about the midterm, about any of your assignments?
I've got a question. So next week we don't have next Monday's a holiday, right? Am I right about
Yeah, President's Day.
that? Right. So the Monday section won't be meeting next Monday then. So should we also cancel this Friday's section?
Why?
Because the Monday section has already had one day off and it's getting a little unfair for the
Oh
Friday.
man.
Just my thought, my question.
That's fine by me. I don't care. Yeah, that's fine. So
Sounds-
no school on Friday. Woohoo!
So are we still have to do we still have to do a discussion?
No, Josh just canceled it.
Okay, sounds good.
Same meeting as we always have. So when is your meeting? I have nothing to do with the discussion session, so don't blame me. But good job, Josh. Way to cancel it.
Josh is the man.
All right.
Just reading, I've got some people messaging me. I've got so many fans out there.
I guess so.
Keep up with all of this fan mail. I get all this mail every week telling me how great I am.
See, I can be the bad guy, but you have to be the good guy.
There you go. That'll work. Seems good arrangement for me.
I know. Some people are totally freaked out when I gave them a 0 and told them to do it over again.
No.
I didn't warn them. Did I warn them? Yes, I warned them. All right, this week. Next week. Okay, so no discussion session on Friday. No discussion session on Monday. No class on Monday. It's President's Day. So get the heck out of here. You guys have a great night. And then I'll
Thank you,
stick
Professor.
around as always for questions, concerns. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night. So Josh, you get a lot of go ahead.
Sorry, I just had a quick question for when we're resubmitting the midterm on Island, is it going to count? I don't know how like the plagiarism thing works. Is it going to count like our old paper against us? If that makes sense?
No,
Okay, I just want to make sure so that way I didn't like rewrite it. Or
no,
anything.
just take out a lot of the header, or not the headers, but the most people got flagged on the
Mine was like all formatting.
like the formatting and the citations. And then I had a student
Okay.
argue that she used information from a paper from before. And I said, yeah, that's great, but it's still plagiarism.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Professor. For the group meetings that we're attending with you, is it going to be the lecture link or your office hours link?
Just the lecture, it's the same thing. It's all one link. I'm really lazy this quarter. I didn't do separate links for anything. So before I actually set up different classes for different meetings, I'm going, I don't even know why I did that. So it's all
right,
one.
sounds good. Thank you.
So, I mean, I haven't had any problems. I haven't had any Zoom bombers. So nobody Zoom bombed me. So I'm good. I shouldn't say that. Probably get one now. All right. Anything else, guys? Thank you. Have a great day. Josh, what do you got going on? Did you get a lot of complaints about me in your emails?
No, I just referred them back to you if anything came up about the midterm. I just tried to keep out of that.
Yeah, my first class, I go, oh, you guys hurt my feelings. Oh, wait, I don't have any feelings, so I'm okay.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that's a good response.